Can I greet people? Mary Odia, welcome. Rochelle White, Stephen Oluwajare, Amonike, Bumi Benro, Plutonic, Shagun Fatuma, Mesonge, Shinwe. Welcome, welcome everyone. Kehinde Adeniyi, welcome, welcome. So please go invite your friends that you care for, or you care about. Go and invite them, go and call on them. Go invite them and encourage them to tag in. Go and share the link. Go and share the message. Share it with your friends and invite them to come. Kennedy Festus, Danita Senga, Yomije Gede, Ayodeji Bello, thoughtful writer, Emmanuel Temitope, Adeshola, Abiola, Vanessa. Okay, please go invite your friends. And we are starting off today. Okay, so if you are ready, all right. So, knowing and understanding God through love is the topic. Knowing and understanding God through love. Knowing and understanding God through love. So, that's the whole idea. The whole idea is about knowing God and understanding God. But what was the best way to do that? Through love. So knowing and understanding God through love, that's the series we are doing. And unfortunately, this series will soon come to an end, to a glorious end. And it's just about 3 or 4 days that we have left. So this we have tomorrow, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 more days to go. And on Monday, I'm going to be starting another series. I'm not going to tell you the title of the series yet, but we're starting another series on Monday. Knowing and understanding God through love. Knowing and understanding God through love. So our purpose is also our greatest commandment. This is the topic for today. Our purpose is also our greatest commandment. That is to say, no matter the purpose that you are called to fulfill on earth, that purpose must be wrapped in the greatest commandment. So whatsoever your purpose is, it must be wrapped up in the greatest commandment. That's why the Bible says that all the laws and the prophet, the total law, all the law and prophet is included, or is, what is the word he uses, or consists of one word, love. So by saying that all prophet and all prophets and law consist in one word, that is to say that their purpose, the purpose of all the law, or the old law that we have, the purpose of all the law, everything you read in the Old Testament, and the purpose of all the prophets, all the prophets that you have ever heard about in the Old Testament, all the prophets, all the law, everything comprised in one thing, in one word, in one commandment, the commandment of love. Can you believe it? So, no prophet fulfills his mandate and his calling without, reflecting the nature of God. And what is the nature of God? The most primary of the nature of God is love. So all prophets and all law comprises of one word of love, of love. I think we didn't include the scriptures. Let me find it. We had them yesterday. The scriptures of all law and prophet is consists in love. So there are two scriptures at least like that we have to put there. So the law and the prophet and the fulfillment. Love is the fulfillment of the law. Love is the fulfillment of the law. So you cannot fulfill your purpose without love. You can only fulfill your purpose when your purpose is enwrapped in love. Because love is the fulfillment of the law. Love is the fulfillment of the prophets. So no matter who you are, mention any human being when the foundation and the essence of their call is not engulfed and wrapped in love, then they cannot be said to have fulfilled their calling. So that's why Jesus, when they ask him, what is the greatest commandment? That's why it is absolutely clear that it is only one commandment that it is. But we today, if you look at the churches, especially in Africa today, you will hear them talk about all kinds of laws. They will talk about Moses, they will talk about adultery, they will talk about Sabbath, they will talk about all kinds of laws. Don't kill, don't steal, false. They will talk about all the laws. Don't wear women's dress. Women shouldn't wear men's dress. Men shouldn't wear women's dress. They will talk about first fruit. They will talk about all kinds of things, tithe. But the real one, the real and the only one that signifies it, and that is only going to be, on what basis you will be affirmed by God that your calling has been fulfilled, is love. And that's the only one that people don't talk about so much. Tithe is not even as significant in the eye of God as the commandment of love. First fruit is not as significant in the eye of God like the commandment of love. So all these things could be done, but if they are not done in love, they are not recognized in heaven. So for example, if you are not living a life of love, but you are busy giving tithe and offering and counting your tithe and offering, that tithe and offering, all the sacrifices you are making, all the money you have given to the church, without living a lifestyle of love, is not recognized in heaven. So you can give as much first fruit as you want, but those are still part of the law. But all the law is fulfilled in one word: in love. So anything you want to preach, doesn't matter what you preach from the Old Testament or from the New Testament, if it's not engulfed in love, if it's not in love, if it's not wrapped in love, you've done nothing. You have not done anything. So that's the only thing that we are all actually supposed to concern ourselves with. That's the only topic, that's the only reality that we are supposed to be living in with God. So, our purpose must be wrapped up in the greatest commandment, which is love, if we are fulfilling purpose. Otherwise, there is no way that purpose is going to be recognized before God. All our efforts will not be recognized before God if it is devoid of love. The same thing with, with individuals. That's what when it talks about the prophets. Prophets, their greatest assignment too must be in fulfilling the commandment of love. So love is not just the greatest commandment like which we have to abide by, but from yesterday's message, that love is both a purpose and function. That we are actually made to function. Our purpose is also made to be realized in love. Our, calling is supposed to be realized and, brought to pass through love as well. So both our purpose and our calling and our functioning, our essence is to be engulfed in love. So it's all, love is what makes life meaningful, and it's what makes everything to have sense. So our purpose is also our greatest commandment. So whatsoever purpose you have, even you yourself, your whole life is supposed to be all about love. Extending love, especially to the less privileged, to the people who are less fortunate, to the people that need that love most. All problems in the world is a love problem. Either loving yourself too much or not loving others as much. So let's say that you are fulfilling purpose. Anytime we try to fulfill purpose without love, that's where all the problem comes from. So anytime you try to fulfill purpose without love, you have problem. So problem is in trying to fulfill purpose without love. Love is the fulfillment of purpose itself. Our purpose is our greatest commandment is in love. Now, loving the unlovable, loving the less privileged, not just loving yourself, but when you love yourself too much, or not loving others as yourself, or loving others too much, then all problems come as a result of that. A misdirected love is loving the wrong things, loving self and other things too much instead of loving God and people. Instead of loving God and people. So our purpose is our greatest commandment. It's also our greatest commandment. So whatever purpose you have is all supposed to be wrapped up in love. All right, so let's have a look at this video that says that all problems that people have on earth is a problem of love. Either somebody loved himself too much or doesn't love others as himself. Okay, again, we are going to Southeast Asia. This is the same guy, Kevin. They caught him one time and he offered to work with the authorities. That, he's doing 419, carrying drugs and things like that. So he said, you need a black man to catch a black man. So he told them that they should work with him. He will help them catch his fellow people. But then they caught him again, still doing the same thing. So Kevin didn't really repent and it was not serious. He was just trying to deceive the the authority. Okay, go ahead. So the whole idea of what we are saying is that when you just love yourself and you only want to take for yourself, you want to get rich, you want to have money, but You want to have money at the expense of other people. You want to get rich at the expense of a whole nation, at the expense of other people. You are selling drugs to people, so you want to kill other people so that you will be rich. You want to destroy other lives so that you will be okay. This is what we say, all problems come out of that. When somebody loves himself too much, he only wants to use others or take advantage of others for his own benefit. He's not willing to love his neighbor as himself. Okay?
You are under arrest, Kevin. And this is your notebook again? Your old notebook is waiting for you.
Pay for the Swaziland passport. $800. How much did you pay for the Mozambique passport? The same.
The victim, right? What about your function?
Just like
So he went and changed his passport, and tried to, come into the country with another man's passport. Mozambique's passport and another one. He had two passports. So he said he bought them for $800 each. And they caught him. Okay? Stop. What are they writing? Scammer, Kelvin Jacob Shooks, Aka Kevin, Egebie Tumudon, Aka John Siwango, Aka Prince, he has many names. Prince Kevin, 419 Scams, Yahoo, FBI, Royal Bank of Scotland, AEK Udon Hospital, Tyrak, John Phillips, Stella, Activities, Mail, Server, Spy Drain, Wireless Bulk Mailing. So he's doing email scamming. So, well, what is the whole problem of scamming and all that? Because people love themselves too much. People just love themselves at the expense of other people. You don't care for other fellow human beings. If you care for other fellow human beings, you will not like to kill them. If you care for other fellow human beings, you will not like to put them on drugs. If you care for other fellow human beings, you will not like to destroy their lives. If you care for other fellow human beings, you will not like to make them, to lose their own money. Because this email scamming is trying to tell women that they are in love with them and all that, and take all their money. And then, email scamming also is saying they are government officials just trying to dupe other people. So that's an act of lack of love. Now, let's go back to our teaching today, our topic. Our purpose is also our greatest commandment. So let's say my purpose is to become a pastor. And we are talking about commandment. Now, as a pastor, and we have seen a lot of these things these days, right? As a pastor, we talked about all the commandments, especially the ones that has become popular in Nigeria right now is tithe and first fruit. So yesterday I showed a video about somebody trying to, that was Pastor Bishop Okonkwo, who was talking about tithe, that, you shouldn't use fear, and that he used to use fear to conjure people just to get their money. And he was very straightforward. He was very truthful in that thing. He was, telling it the way it is, that it is fear that we use to get people. But in the real sense, that you shouldn't do that. So what does that mean? Love was not their primary underlining principle. The underlining principle of the activity as a pastor. So you could be a pastor, or you could be preaching the word of God, but love is not your underlining reason why you are doing what you are doing. Their underlining reason was money. And he said it because we just want to get money from them. So when your underlining reason, your very motive. Now, people could be wrong. Anybody could be wrong. Maybe you say, okay, maybe he didn't. And all of us, we might do something that doesn't quite reflect love. But when you build a whole ministry on trying to get them, when build a whole ministry on trying to get people's money, that we put fear on them, we tell them things that will frighten them for them to separate with their money, that means that the very foundation of that ministry is faulty. So it's not just that they are not loving people, it's not just that they didn't love people at this particular time, but it means that their whole foundation of ministry is against love. It means that whole purpose they are trying to, meanwhile they are trying to fulfill purpose. But the purpose they are trying to fulfill is totally against the nature of God, against the commandment of love. The purpose itself is not going to be accepted by God. The purpose itself is already on a faulty foundation. If the purpose that you are trying to fulfill is not based on love, then it's as good as you not even doing the purpose in the first place. So when a pastor, a bishop, or the bishop of a whole Pentecostal fellowship of Nigeria is saying that he and many others, that what they are doing is to, basically they are saying the goal of ministry and the goal of the church is to collect money from people. So if the goal, if your whole exercise, your whole purpose is all around getting money, then you have already missed the road. Now, the most important purpose of any activity you are involved in, the most important purpose or the most important principle in fulfilling any calling you might have, the most important principle in fulfilling any purpose that you might have should be love. Love should be the one single most important principle of undergirding your purpose. But when that love is gone, or when that principle of love is removed from the purpose you are trying to fulfill, that purpose begins to kill people. That purpose begins to damage people. That purpose begins to deprive people. That purpose begins to, is doing the opposite of what you are supposed to do with it. So that is what we are talking about. Any purpose, even if you are not called to be a pastor or a teacher, but any purpose that you are called to fulfill, if love is removed from it, it becomes an instrument of destruction. If the greatest commandment is removed from it, then there is no need to be involved in that purpose, with that activity. All our activities, all our efforts in pleasing God, in serving God, must be based on our desire to touch people with God's love. Ministry itself, like I told the story of how I started our church in Ukraine here. And I was preaching, and I used to think that the most important thing in ministry was for you to be powerful. That, once you have anointing, that once I'm anointed, everything is okay. There's no, no problem. And then once I'm anointed, and then I have miracles, power, and I have Rhema, word of revelation. But that's the only thing that matters. So I used to think like that, and I was praying. I used to pray for several months and pray and fast. Pray and fast for many, many months that God will anoint me, that God will do miracles through me, and that I will get many more Rhemas. So I was getting all the Rhema, and I was getting all the miracles, but the thing with Europe is that when you are ministering to white people, you do miracle today, and that doesn't mean anything. Even the person who got the miracle will not come back tomorrow. So I'm in trouble, because in Africa, when you do miracle in one place, it's not just that the person will come. That person is yours forever. Not just that person alone. He will go and bring his relatives. He will go and bring his family. He will go and bring the whole village or the whole town. Anybody that knows him will come to say that is how churches grow, miracles. But when I got here, miracles doesn't really mean anything. Number two, I was doing all the Rhema, but the Rhema is only necessary when you have people who are shouting hallelujah, amen for you. Otherwise, the Rhema is only for you yourself. So I was preaching Rhema But when there's nobody in the hall, what is the good of the revival? So, but when I was so frustrated after about maybe a few months, I was trying to start a church. And I was asking God, but you told me to start this ministry. Why is it that, people are not coming? Why is it that people are not coming and church is not growing? And even though I fasted for 6 months that time, eating only once a day in the evening, 6 months of fasting, and now nobody is coming. Then God told me that, you know what? You are mistaken because you think that ministry, you don't know what ministry is. Your definition of ministry is faulty. That ministry is not just, in fact, it's told me specifically, ministry is not preaching, your ability to preach, or fiery split preaching, when everybody is jumping up and down and say, oh yes, yeah. That is not ministry. Actors can do that. The miracles are not, ministry is not miracles. When miracles are just happening and power of God is being displayed, miracles, magicians can perform miracles as well. They can wow people with their miracles, and juju priests or voodoo priests can also perform miracles. Miracle is not the ministry. Wow. So what is ministry? The preaching is not ministry. Miracle is not ministry. So what is left? So I was thinking, what is left? Healing is not ministry. Pulpit is not ministry. So that was when God spoke to me. I will cut the story short and said, ministry is the ability to touch people with God's love. Ministry is the ability to touch people with God's love. That's ministry. Now, whatever method you now use to deliver that touch is a different ball game. It's another talk. So you could use preaching if that preaching is the best method at that particular time that will help you to touch people with God's love, with God's touch of love. Or if you might use miracle, if that is the best way right now, that's the greatest need that is at hand, and it's the best way to communicate God's love to that person. Or you might just hug people. That might be the best way to communicate God's love at that particular time. Or you might just need to listen to somebody. Or you might just need to talk to somebody. Or you might just need to, hug somebody. Or just smile to somebody. That might be the way that you might need to. Just anyhow, anything that is needed for you to communicate God's love, that is ministry. So ministry is the ability to communicate God's love to somebody that is in need of it. Now, then the challenge me and say, will you be able to preach the gospel if you will never be able to talk without words? Will you be able to preach the gospel without words if you will never ever need to use words? Will you be able to preach the gospel if you will never be able to preach? Will you still be able to preach the gospel if you will never be able to teach or preach? Will you be able to preach the gospel even without even seeing the Bible or holding the Bible in hand? Will you still be able to preach, to minister? So the ability to be able to communicate God's love is actually what ministry is. So when we are using purpose to suffocate and deprive people of love, that is totally the opposite of what ministry is. So our purpose, our ministry must be in the greatest commandment. The greatest any purpose, any calling that we have must be wrapped up in the greatest commandment. So all problems come from not living like that. Romans 13:10, love does no harm to a neighbor, therefore love is the fulfillment of the law. So anything you want to fulfill, purpose, love is the key to fulfilling purpose. You want to please God, love is the key to pleasing God. So when I saw the video today of that pastor Okonko again, the second one, talking about first fruit, I was really encouraged because what he was saying is that his heart, let's get that video ready, his heart, his conscience, which shows us that the man is still listening to his own conscience. He's a conscientious person. He has a clean heart. At least he's trying to maintain a clean heart. So, and he was saying that it is his conscience that would not allow him to take the first fruits from people anymore. And that means because of love. If you really love people, you will not be taking first fruits from them. If you really love people, you will not be forcing people or registering people's tithe and offering and be saying if they don't pay tithe and offering, they cannot receive any help or they are not recognized. You will not judge people by money if you really love people. In fact, what Jesus said is that the only thing that we should be using to judge people should be love. Love is the only parameter that we should be using to judge people. Judge people according to your love. Not according to, other people's love, but according to your own love. Sometimes, when we started doing this, our love series, a lot of people started dropping out from the platform. And because we had more people when we were correcting other people, when we were correcting the pastors and the bishops and the GO, that they didn't do this right. This practice is wrong. That practice is wrong. Or, that whatever they are doing is wrong. So and many people came to the platform because it's easier to always demand from another person love than for you yourself to give love. So, when we were, condemning the practices, the evil practices of other people, people were coming, yes, say it, tell them. And we were coming but that's not what the Bible says. Bible's requirement from us is to judge ourselves. Judge myself, not another person's. Not to be judging how other people love or they don't love. Judge yourself. So I must use this principle to judge myself. How am I, walking in love in my purpose? Fulfilling my purpose. Am I fulfilling my purpose in love? Is love the basis of my ministry to people? But I'm not judging my pastor. I'm not judging my wife or my husband or my son or my child. How is he loving or is not loving? I must use it to judge myself. It's a commandment for me, not just a commandment for them. But let's have a look at this because this is an example of a man that judged himself, that used the principles of love to judge himself. And he's saying because of his heart, which means because of the love he has for God and because of the love he has for people, his heart will not permit him to demand first fruits from people, which tells us a lot, which means if I'm demanding first fruit from people, it means I'm not putting the interest of those people first. I'm not showing that I love those people. Let's have a look at this video.
People ask me, Brother Michael, what of this tithing? How do you? I say it's not an issue with me in my church. I don't waste my time over something. It's not an issue. As I teach the church. I tell them what I know is the truth from the scriptures. Many years ago, a preacher came to me and said to me, Brother Mike, you have a big church all over the friend world that look, go and collect their first fruits.
Stop. I don't know if some of you remember how I told my own stories about the first fruit too. That I had a Ghanaian prophet that came to my church and also was convincing me the same way. That can you imagine how much it will be? And we calculated that day alone. We are supposed to be calculating like $30 million every one first fruit by the time we calculate from every member of the church. From our church here. But we rejected, and that was the last time the guy ever came. No, because we never invited him back again. We banned him because we knew that it was manipulation. Because he was saying, do you know how much money you have? And he was now convincing us that the first fruit is not for the church. Oh. The first fruit is for you. It's for you personally. So all businesses, everything must come to you. So you must not have the love of God, or you must not have love for people for you to practice that first fruit. For you to practice that first fruit, you must love yourself and yourself alone. You must be loving yourself too much and loving yourself alone. You know, it is when you love yourself and just love yourself and you don't love people, then you begin to practice that first love. I mean, it's so difficult to imagine because from that first fruit, you will have more money than the church is even having itself. That is how much that first fruit is so manipulative. If you had agreed to it, and it's so tempting. So this man was telling me he has helped this church, he has helped this ministry, he has helped this denomination, he has helped this denomination, but you know, he can help me too. They are coming to you as if they are helping you, but really they want you to also be blessing them or to keep on inviting them so that they will also be taking some offering for themselves. So it is the same thing that has happened to this man, and I can believe him because that's what happened to me too. That pastors, that's why most pastors are doing this first fruit thing, because they are copying one another. They are copying each other. It's not because God told them. It's not because it's written in the Bible. Because they are not doing it before. This thing is a new development in the churches of today. Can we rewind it a little bit and
the scriptures. Many years ago, a preacher came to me and said to me, Brother Mike, you know you have a big church all over the friend world that look, go and collect their first fruits. I'll come to your church and help them, teach them to collect your first fruits. Do you know what you'll be with first fruits? You know they know how to amplify first fruits. They pointed, this one does it, this one does it. I said, leave me alone. Let me do the way God is leading me. I said, it's not all about money. I said, show me in the back. What did you teach when you went to those churches? He told me the churches he went to. I listened to them. I said, from what you have not still answered me. All your tapes you brought did not support that a New Testament, that is what should be done. You collect all the first fruits and give to me. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine all the businessmen?
You know, can you notice the passion of love that he has? He is even pitying the people. That can you imagine that? That how can everything be given to him? Just the same kind of reaction that I had. The same kind of reaction. And he is bewildered. And can you imagine? And he refused to do it. Which means every church also could refuse to do it. People are being taken advantage of. But now what is even more painful is that the people who are being taken advantage of, they are the ones who are coming to the platform to defend their pastors who are taking advantage of them and to fight you for telling the truth. So now those ones who are saying that I'm Antichrist, so is this their this is their president, or this man used to be the president of PFN? Is he an Antichrist also too? So everybody is an Antichrist, and I heard that Sam Adeyemi also spoke against tithe and offering manipulation. If you really love God and love people, there are some things you will not do. And that's what the topic of today is, that your purpose should be wrapped up in the greatest commandment, which is love. There is no way you will love people and just outrightly take advantage of them. You know, all of us could be wrong, right? But it's good when you are sincerely wrong, or when you are not aware that you are wrong. But when when people are saying it and you are still defending it, it means you are, it's difficult to believe that these people don't know what they are doing. It's difficult to believe that these people are not taking. There is no way, if you really love people, you will think about it. For example, me, I didn't even look at the theological consequences of it. It just sounds wrong to me. Even though the guy showed me in the Old Testament that it's written, and I saw it, but I was saying something is wrong with it. This cannot be right. Everybody bring their first fruit and give to you alone, and you go home and say you are a pastor. I mean, conscience, and you are still receiving salary and tithe. Let's go back a little bit and say,
all about money. I said, show me in the back. What did you teach when you went to those churches? He told me the churches he went to. I listened to them. I said, from what You have not still answered me. All your tapes you brought did not support that a New Testament, that is what should be done. You collect all the first fruits and give to me. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine all the businessmen, all the profits you make? No, think of it. All the profits you make, all the businessmen, not only in the headquarters, everywhere. And you bring them at my feet. Even if I didn't read it in the Bible, my conscience will not allow me. That's it. No, don't clap. There's one of our preachers, our pastors who wanted to do it. He's no more with us now. And I told him impossible. And when he went behind me to do it, that was what sent him out of this ministry.
Stop. You see, he even sacked the pastor on fees. Why did the pastor? He told the pastor not to do it, and the pastor said, it means he's driven by greed. He's not driven by love for people, but by love to himself. So these are all confirmation of the fact that people who are conscientious, people who have conscience, who love God, who have the fear of God, who love God, who love people, will not do those things. First fruit. You know what first fruit is? It's not even 10% again. No, it's not 10% of what you make. Oh, it's wickedness is total, complete. You must not open the self. Some people say you shouldn't open it. You just bring everything complete, total. No. That is treacherous. Let's go.
It's not every gift you take. Take the one that you go to bed and sleep.
Beautiful. Wow. We will also look for Sunday Adelaja maybe. So these are all what we are talking about. Our purpose is supposed to be wrapped up in love. You are not preaching the gospel. You are not pleasing God. If any purpose that you say is your purpose is not wrapped up in love, in the greatest commandment. Your purpose is all supposed to be enveloped in love. Love does not harm his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment. No matter what destiny, what purpose you are fulfilling, your purpose is only fulfilled when it's fulfilled in love. Owe no man anything except to love one another. For he who loves another is fulfilling the law. He has fulfilled the law. So no matter what ministry you have, is all your fulfillment. Fulfillment is all in love. That Ephesians 3:17-19, that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, that you, being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend with all the saints what is the width and length and depth and height, to know the love of Christ. You see, this is the prayer of Paul to the church, to all the Christians. Look at Paul praying for all the Christians. And he's praying that, what is the prayer that he's praying? For all the saints. You see, he says, be rooted and grounded. Okay, say that Christ may dwell in your heart through faith, that you, Christian, you a Christian, being rooted and grounded in love. This is our greatest assignment. Nobody can say he's perfect in love. None of us is perfect. We have to keep on growing till we die. This is an assignment. This is a lifelong assignment for every one of us till we leave this earth. We will keep on learning and getting perfected. We will keep on making mistakes and getting better. But in fact, he has to pray. You know, we Christians, we pray about many things. We pray for deliverance. We pray against demons. We pray against witches and wizards. We pray fall down and die. We pray all kinds of prayer. But look at the kinds of prayers the apostles were praying. This is the kind of prayer the apostles were praying. What prayer? Prayer for love. Prayer that all many times, when was the last time you prayed that God will grant you in love? That you will be rooted in love, grounded in love. When was that last prayer request? It was your prayer request. When last did you have that prayer request? When was that? When are you and this is written in the old Bible. This is recorded in the old Bible. This is a whole book is written about it. And you know, not just a whole book. I mean, this is the emphasis. There are some things that God emphasizes, there are some things that doesn't emphasize. But this one is emphasizing it. He's even saying he's praying, not just for you and for the people he's writing to, but for all the saints, including I and you. His prayer is that we will be grounded in love. Because that is the whole essence of our existence. That you, being rooted and grounded in love, may be able to comprehend. It is when we are rooted and grounded in love that we are able to comprehend with all the saints. You see, it's talking about all the saints. With all the saints, what is the width and the length and the depth and the height, to know what? To know again the love of Christ. That you be grounded in love to again know the love of Christ, which passes knowledge. So it's a prayer point. It's something we all need to grow in all the time. How to love like Christ loves. All of us, till we die, we will need to keep on growing in love like this. Because he prayed that you'll be rooted and grounded in love. Then he's praying that you will comprehend, which means you will even understand love. You will understand how to love together with all the saints, that all the saints too will understand the length and the height, or the depth and the height, the width, the length, the depth, and the height of what? To know the love of Christ. Again, love. Grounded because of in love, rooted in love, and comprehend love, and knowing all multifaceted side, of love of Christ, which surpasses all knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. It is when you are filled in love, grounded in love like that, that you will be filled, you will have the fullness of God. So fullness of God comes only in love and true love. It is when you are grounded in love that you will get to know the fullness of God. The fullness of God is only possible as you are grounded and established in love. And as you know all aspects of love, many aspects of love. So it is, all his prayer is about love. All these prayer requests, he starts with love, he got to the middle, it's about love, he ended up with love. That is how important love is in this kingdom. Love does no harm to a neighbor, therefore love is the fulfillment of the law. So if we really have ministry, we say we have ministry, that we are fulfilling purpose. If we are fulfilling purpose, there is no fulfillment of purpose without loving people. There is no fulfillment of purpose without ministering to people, without serving people, without striving at least to love people, to make sure that your purpose is also your greatest commandment. It's also it's also love. Your purpose is also love. Let's have a look at, is it Benny Hinn you have now? Or Saturday? Yeah, one of them. So we are going to have another, we are going to have a look at another of the videos of the pastors, because we are pastors, we have calling. We talk about having calling. So if we have calling and our calling is separated from love, then we don't have a calling. We talk all the time about fulfilling purpose. But what purpose are we fulfilling if it is deprived of love? So, and the mustering of members, the mustering of members of money, the strangling of members of money is the most wicked act of lack of love. Because people are poor, but we are still using all kind of means to strip them of their money. And that doesn't show love. If you love people, you will not be telling them that give to the rich only. Give only sow up, don't sow down. Only give to the ones who are already prosper. Don't give to the poor. You cannot love people and say don't give to the poor. You cannot love people or love God and say don't give to the widows and to the orphans. But give to the church. Rather bring to church instead of bringing to those places. No, that's not love. You cannot love by doing that. Okay, let's go. Here we go.
Our lives, what glory it will bring, what power it will bring. Today, many Christians are not truly Christians. Their Christianity has become diluted, and we get attacked for teaching prosperity. Well, it's in the Bible.
Stop.
But I think some...
You see the way he's talking, we get attacked for teaching prosperity. I see, he's still not even coming out to repent. There is no repentance in his word. There is no remorse in his words. As if they get attacked. But instead of you to say, thank you, you people who are attacking us, thank you for attacking us. It is thanks to you now we can face the truth. He's supposed to confess and say, thank you for attacking us. Thanks to your attack, we go to the truth.
Christianity has become diluted. And, we get attacked for teaching prosperity. Well, it's in the Bible. But I think some have gone to the...
Christians became deluded. How? Is it not through your teachings and your practice? It is the practice and the teachings of people like you that got the Christians deluded. Christians didn't just get deluded from nothing, no. It's because of your actions. You brainwash them, you hypnotize them, and people like you.
It's in the Bible. But I think some have gone to the extreme with it, sadly.
Stop.
And it's not God.
See the way he's talking. Some have gone. But you are number one out of the some that have gone to the extreme. Who is worse than you in collecting money? Maybe in Nigeria only. Even the Nigerian ones, I think they copy it from Benny Hinn.
I think some have gone to the extreme with it, sadly. And it's not God's word, what is taught. And I think I'm as guilty as others.
Stop.
Sometimes.
If you are going to get where I was guilty, why did you begin by pointing accusing fingers at others? If you want to say you are guilty, then why are you talking as if you don't even know what the thing is talking about? Okay?
I'm as guilty as others. Sometimes you go a little farther than you really need to go, and then God brings you back to normality and reality. No. Because you read the more you know the Bible, the more you become, biblically based and more balanced in your opinions and your thoughts. Because we're influenced. When I was younger, I was...
You see, he's not concerned about love for people. They don't care for people or for love for people, about love for people or anything. It's just about what they do. It's not even about love for God, because if you have the love of God, you'll be cautioned. And thank God, I think at least they are better, because I think it's the love of God that is touching their hearts, someone like this to confess. Yeah, and I think you have to love God to be able to even humble yourself and confess like this. But most people will not. Especially the Africans, most of them might not.
In your opinions and your thoughts, because we're influenced. When I was younger, I was influenced by the preachers who taught whatever they taught. But as I've lived longer, I'm thinking, wait a minute, this doesn't really fit totally with the Bible. And it doesn't fit with the reality. So, what is prosperity? No lack.
And he's right. Most of the people who are practicing tithe by all means, prosperity and tithe or first fruit, is because they are copying from other people. This copy business is killing Christianity. It's killing the church. And that's what we have to face. Everybody just calls copying people ahead. They are not hearing God for themselves, not reading the Bible for themselves.
Doesn't fit with the reality. So, what is prosperity? No lack. And I've said this before. Did Elijah the prophet have a car? No. did not even have a bicycle. But he had no lack. How about the Lord? Did Jesus drive a car or live in a mansion? No. He had no lack. How about the apostles? No lack. None lacked among them. Today the idea is abundance and palatial homes and cars and bank accounts.
Focus is wrong.
They've gone, yeah,
Well,
the focus is wrong.
Right. The focus on the Lord and abundance and prosperity comes in all dimensions of your life because He's the Prince of Peace. He's that perfect shalom, that total well-being that affects every aspect of your life. But you focus on the wrong thing and you go.
You know, and it's so wrong. I mean, forgive me, people have accused me of things aren't even real. One guy wrote a comment, oh, he's worth 40 million. I thought, how I wish. I would give it all to the kingdom before God Almighty. Amen. He can tell you I'm right, and Tim will tell you I'm right, and people will, well, he flies private jets. No, I don't. I have not flown private in, dear God, years. I fly commercial like anyone else and have for how long, Tim? You fly with me, brother. Yeah. And what kind of hotels have we stayed in? Dear God, please.
We have some good testimonies.
Here, come on.
We have some good testimonies of our hotels that we've stayed in. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, stop.
You saw somebody
I think that could be insulting other people again because you're still doing that with other people's money. But if you want to be repentant, let's be repentant. If you want to be remorse, let's be remorse. Okay, let's hear Sam Adeyebi's side of the story.
John the Apostle said in John 21:25, and there are also many other things that Jesus did, which if they were written one by one, I suppose that even the world itself could not contain the books that will be written. Amen. Yeah, amen is part of the verse. Okay. So I say again, tithing as practiced under the law of Moses as a regulation has expired. No Christian should feel guilty for not paying tithes.
So,
No.
you see, he's saying tithing has expired as practiced in the Old Testament. That's just the truth. But you shouldn't feel guilty for not paying it. Even though personally, I still pay tithe. And I think that it's still a good idea to pay tithe as a welfare system. You know, pay tithe if you trust your pastor, your church, that they're using it well, okay. But if you don't trust them, put that tithe aside and use it by yourself. Go and use it to look. It disciplines you. It helps you to be able to not to eat everything you get. So in that sense, tithe, I support tithe. You can use it to go and minister and to go and do acts of love. But the way pastors are doing it as if it's compulsory and as if it's a condition for prosperity, like that, well, that is the problem. And then they are saying people are caused and all that. That is a big problem.
No Christian should be made to feel guilty for not paying tithe. Let's describe what Jesus did. Romans 8 verses 1 to 4. There is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. For the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has made me free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do in that it was weak through the flesh, God did by sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, on account of sin. He condemned sin in the flesh, that the righteous requirement of the law might be fulfilled, in us who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. Nobody should tell a Christian that for you to be accepted before God first, or for you to be righteous, you must pay your tithe. When Jesus said it is finished, it was finished. There's nothing anybody can add to what Jesus did to be justified before God. Did I hear you say amen? Amen. All anybody needs to do now to be free from sin is to pray and ask for forgiveness. All. Okay? Very important. Galatians chapter 3 verse 13. Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us, for it is written, cursed is everyone that hangs on the tree, that the blessing of Abraham might come upon the Gentiles, that they might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. Very important. If you are are going to give to God as a New Testament Christian, don't give out of guilt. Don't give out of fear. I will not honestly tell you that because you don't pay tithe, you will be cursed. It will not be biblical.
Why is he saying curse? Is he, as when he didn't become a Ghanaian? Curse? Curse? That's not what is written there. It says cursed. Cursed. He's saying curse. That's the way Ghanaians say it. Okay, let's go ahead.
You are free to give any percentage that you want to give, from 0 to 100%. Nothing, you won't, and whatever it is you give will not make you more righteous or less righteous. There is nothing you need to add to the blood of Jesus. You don't need to add your own blood. It will create problems. The only thing I'll say is this, that as much as God's grace has covered all of our sins, satisfied what Jesus did, satisfied all the requirements for us to be righteous with God, there are still consequences for your actions. So let's say 5 minutes ago you committed murder, you killed someone,
Okay.
and now you feel
Well. So you've heard it from Sabadiebi, one of the up and coming pastors in Nigeria. I think one of the most dynamic young ministers in Nigeria, and people respect him. And you say, that's true. If you really love God and you love people, you will not compel people. You will not be using tithe to beat people in the head. You will not be using tithe to say people will not be accepted. You will not be using tithe as an argument to say people are cursed. You will not be using tithe to be telling people that people will not be accepted before God. People cannot, or they are not Christians. That is, it's an abuse. It points to greed. It means that people have become so greedy that they are manipulating. They are no more fulfilling their purpose. They are actually fulfilling the purpose of filling their pocket, or fulfilling the purpose of getting money from people. But if you really are fulfilling God's purpose, the way you will know if people are fulfilling God's purpose or not is by their love. If whenever you see people who are serving or doing anything, doesn't matter, either in church or house of church, look into their love. Judge people by their love. Assess people by their love. How much do they love people? In trying to say, not by their service only. Their service must be in love. Not just by their zeal and their efforts. All that must be in love. Judge people by their love. Our life purpose is our greatest commandment. 2. 1 Thessalonians 3:12. And may the Lord make you increase and abound in love to one another and to all, just as we do to you. Abound in love. You see the prayer in Thessalonians, this is the prayer again, that God will make you to increase and abound in love. Increase and abound in love to one another and to all. This is the purpose and the prayer of God for us, that we will constantly increase so you can increase in love and then abound in that love to not just Christians but to all, just as we do to you. So really, we are created to love God and fellow man, to pursue love with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength. That's why we're created. Ephesians 4:14-15, that we should no longer be children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the trickery of man. That's what's happening in Africa. People carry you to and fro by the wind of doctrine, by the trickery. They use tricks, by the trickery of men, in the cunning craftiness of deceitful plotting. But speaking the truth in love. There is no truth in the African church. I'm not talking of, maybe there are exceptions, but mainly no truth, no love. And this ministry is supposed to be based on these two things, truth and love. But then, when those two things are absent, what you have left is that people are tossed to and fro, carried about with every wind of doctrine by the trickery of men in the cunning craftiness of deceitful plotting, but speaking the truth, but not by, but when you speak the truth in love, you may grow up in all things into him who is the head, Christ. When we love, we live. When we live opposite to love, we self-destroy. Genesis 1:26 to 29, to 27, the Bible says God created us in his own image. Love is the nature of God, the image of God. 1 Thessalonians 3:12, and may the Lord make you increase and abound in love to one another and to all, just as we do to you. You see, all prayers in the Bible is all about love, love, love. Hence, our purpose is to be his image, his nature, become love in our image too. That is why it is the same thing as our commandment. So our purpose is the same thing as our commandment, to love. Ephesians 5:1-2. Therefore, be imitators of God as their children and walk in love. How do we imitate God? By loving, by learning to love. Be imitators of God as their children by walking in love, as Christ also has loved us and given himself for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet smelling aroma. So the best way to imitate God is to love. The best way to imitate God is to love. That's why I said, that's why this series is called Knowing and Understanding God Through Love. It is through love that you can best know God and imitate him and become like him. This lines in order with God's original assignment to man, to be his image and likeness. Philippians 1:9, and this I pray, that your love may abound still, more and more in knowledge and all discernment. This is the prayer again in Philippians, that we may abound more and more that our love may abound more and more. You see, it's all about prayers, all prayers. It's all about all the prayers of the apostles. It's all about loving God, or coming to the knowledge of God, or to understanding of God. It's all about three things: knowing God, understanding God, and loving God and loving people. Those are all the prayers. Taking just for the sake of people who have not yet registered for the mentorship class, I think the second class is probably filled up already. So I don't know when the third class, is it filled up? Okay, it's still not filled up. Okay, I think we still need, we can still take you in. If the second class is not yet filled up, we can still take you in. So if you have not yet registered for your mentorship, go to www.sundayadelajablog.com. That's my blog. Go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship. 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 Go to mentorship and you could register for the mentorship program for free, and that will help you to get to understand God better. And also, if you are coming for the HMT in Ukraine, it is go to also the blog, sundayadelajablog.com/visit. sundayadelajablog.com/visit. Or you could write to the office. You write to guest@godembassy.org. For those people who want to buy the book or become distributors, write to dsxbooks@gmail.com. And to buy the books, you could also go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/books. Well, I'm going to call you. I'm going to open the line to you now. If you want to receive the calls, if you want to call in, I will be ready to receive your calls. If you want to call in, we'll be ready to receive your call. Go to Facebook Messenger. Move agents. Okay, we have a caller already. Here we go. Hello.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, my mentor.
Good evening, sir. Is that Pastor Edwin?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Evening.
Yes, sir. Once again, I want to say thanks to God and thank you for standing out and for speaking up. Because the video I watched yesterday of that Bishop Mike Okonkwo, and it was also shown today, reminded me of something, a revelation my wife had. She said, when you came to Nigeria,
Yes.
she saw some of the fathers
Yes.
of faith in the land coming to join the queue, to queue behind us, to follow you.
Yes, I saw that too. I saw that too, by the way.
So I am not surprised at what is happening.
Wow.
I am not surprised at what is happening, and I'm grateful to God for that. And I also want to say that this love series is one of the biggest deliverance that I believe will come to the Nigerian church.
Wow.
It's one of the biggest deliverance. This is not a manifestation, people falling and down, because all those problems that people have is traced to this issue of love. Let me begin by telling you that in my own life, as I hear these teachings, I apply them, and I also apply them to others, those who listen to me, those that I have the opportunity to disciple. I teach them this same thing. Just yesterday, I was talking with a group of women, and in fact, some of those women, let me confess to you, some of them, they have been so bitter with their children. Some of them have placed curses upon their children because of what the children did to them, placed curses upon people, and they themselves are getting delivered.
Wow.
Yes, just yesterday, one got delivered. She has been so bitter, placed a curse on somebody, and of course, after I taught that message on love, she broke down and then opened up, and right away she decided to go and release the person that she had grievance with.
Wow.
So I want to thank you. I want to thank you, sir. I want to thank you for your consistency. There is no better way to say thank you than to replicate whatever you are doing and to bear the fruits in our own personal lives.
Yeah, somebody was telling me today also, so a bishop actually called today and said that, in this love series, that he has looked throughout, and he's an elder gentleman, and he said he has traveled to all continents, and he knows what's going on all over the body of God, that there is no series so comprehensive, a comprehensive series on love like this has never been done. He said, that's what he said. I don't know, that there is, in our generation at least, or maybe in the history of the church, nobody has done such a comprehensive, all-rounded message like this on love.
Yes, honestly, and I'm also confirming it because the message is so clear. But what my biggest concern, my heart is heavy because it seemed to me that people are, this kind of this thing is happening, and it looks like some people are sleeping, or maybe they don't care, or maybe they don't know what is happening. Because this is the biggest revolution. I count myself privileged in my lifetime to witness this, to see this, to hear, because this is the core message. This is the gospel. This is the gospel. This is the gospel. What we have been hearing in the past, they are trash. They are trash. This is the gospel. This is the gospel.
Let me tell you, every time in history is constantly being made. And there are three groups of people. Those people who identify themselves with the history makers.
Yes, sir.
So you are on the side of the history maker, or those people who criticize the history makers, and then those people who don't even know what is happening. They call them observers. They are not even aware that anything happened. They are just surviving. They are carried away by survival. They are too busy trying to make a living. They don't even know. They say, Something happened. You are saying that a revival is going on. This is the biggest revival. They say, hey, when? But I was alive that time. When they get to heaven and God begins to tell them, they will say, but I was alive that time now. When did it happen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. Definitely. You know, personally, let me tell you, sir, I have been receiving some kind of indirect insult and whatever. You know, some people have even warned me that I should not share your video with them. I should know whatever, but they don't have the right to stop me from sharing on my wall. A lot of people are afraid. A lot of people don't share they don't share this video on their wall. They're afraid. But I am not afraid. I don't owe them nothing. They don't, I'm not on their payroll. Some of them have even benefited from me than me benefiting from them. So they don't have anything to tell me. I don't owe any of them nothing. And my allegiance is to God and to the truth. You wait till I arrive in Nigeria. By the grace of God, if God will allow me to step into that country, they will know that this is not the same Pastor Sunday they are saying. Now they are all talking like that, they are all condemning. You will see with your own eye. May God give you long life. They will be running to beg. They will be asking you, please come and introduce us. I know what I'm talking about. By the time I land in Nigeria, and they begin to see all the manifestations and the magnitude of the transformation that will be happening, they will be begging. They will be fasting and praying. They will be fasting and praying to join the team. Amen. So don't worry about what is happening today. Whatever is happening today is temporary. Everything changes. Amen. And they too. Amen. Yeah. Amen. 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 Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. All right. We have another caller waiting, so let's hear the next caller. So, by the way, if you want to join the mentorship program, the Nigerian project, go to my blog as well, sundayadelajablog.com/Nigeria. Hello?
Hello, DSA.
Yes, sir. Is that Miles?
Yeah, Miles. It's Miles from New Zealand.
Nice to have you again.
Yes, sir. It's nice to listen to what you are teaching today.
Yep.
Yeah. I would like to first of all start by saying thank you for the teaching and for what this teaching does is that it has given me confidence, to really kind of speak from an angle. And I would like to start by sharing a dream I had when I first joined the Christ Embassy some time ago. In this dream, I because normally when I belong to a ministry, when I get directions from God, He kind of uses the face of my pastor to direct me. Yeah. But when I joined this ministry, which I had never seen any charm or like charisma like the one Pastor Chris has. Wow. Everything he was saying was just coming into me, and it's like one of the ministers would say, Pastor Chris is worshipable. So I actually was mesmerized in this, and I kind of remember. Then I had a dream about Pastor Chris, and then what I saw was that I saw him in my house eating food on my dining. Okay. And that was it. And so when I woke up in the morning, I was happy about it because I was still taken by all the messages that were preaching, all the prosperity stuff So I told my wife I shared it with my wife, and she had this tingling in her body. I didn't understand that dream until when I started getting enlightened more, and all these issues of fast food and tithing, and I realized that actually what this ministry is doing is trying to eat from me. And then my problem kind of started in the ministry when they've asked for so much money and stuff until it came to fast food. And then I started, from what I've heard from you, I started asking those questions. And even before I asked those questions, I had to do my own calculation. Because when they say bring everything you have for a whole month that you have earned in that month of January, when I calculated between me and my wife, you're looking at $10,000. Wow. And out of this $10,000, because of all the bills, and we have children who go to daycare and everything, you just have $1,000. By the end of the day, you might have $1,000 going into your savings. That means if you give this $10,000, there's nothing left. That is like a saving for even a whole year.
Wow.
And I'm like, how can I give you my whole saving? We've not even bought our house yet. How can I give you my own saving for the whole year? And then that was where the issue started from. And then I found that I had to get counseling from you when I left and my wife wasn't going to leave. And that counseling I got from you gave me a lot of confidence because I'm able to speak out. You know, there's no way one will love and not question teachings on first fruit. There's no way you will have love and leave God to handle this issue. You know, as people are advising me, they say leave it for God. There's no God. Is God not in me to question all this stuff?
Yes.
There's no way you will love and not and encourage such teachings. Because I know some people who know the truth, but they just want to play along. You know, I can't do that no more. Such people are more wicked than those in ignorance. You know, I just, you know, in Christ Embassy, they say they'll tell you this: don't criticize other ministries. As they put members in that cage where you feel persecuted when other people are kind of criticizing you, it makes you look like the real Christian. You know, they say you have no, and then they also tell you something else. You don't have no business listening to other messages of other pastors. So I was a bit, when I was there, I was a bit secretive about listening to you. Yes, sir.
So that they will not know.
Scamming, yes, scamming has no difference with this, you know. You know, each time you hear this popular saying that was going on between their members before I left. We are looking forward to sowing our first our first $1 million.
Wow.
It's so. You know, I like what Bishop Michael Okonkwo said. You know, he said pastors these days, even before the month of, he said pastors shouldn't go to sleep. You know, after it's not every. No, he said it's not every gift you collect that you will sleep well, something like that. But these days, pastors in this kind of ministries, even before the month of January, they go to bed calculating the profit they'll make from the first fruit.
Wow.
I'll just like to share an experience. This is a kind of a personal experience with my mom. She, you know, if she happens to hear what I'm saying now, I want her to know that I'm doing this out of my love for her. You know, she kind of, over the weekend, she visited this TB Joshua ministry. Personally, I've never spoken against TB Joshua. I like what he does charity-wise. But having been in this platform, I can use my confidence because I'm also enlightened to question a lot of stuff. You know, Nigeria is a country right now that has a large population of poor people. But to God be the glory, my mom, my parents, they're doing well. My mom is a commissioner in our state.
Wow.
You know, she went to TB Joshua. And he pointed her out and said, gave her a word of prophecy and asked her that, why are you sitting in the back of the house? And as soon as she told me this, I kind of said, didn't you question, are you living in the back of the house? How about the other millions of Nigerians that are living at the back of the house?
If you are a commissioner, you are definitely not at the back of the house.
Yes.
You are in the front of the house.
Yeah, and this kind of turned her mind around because she started, I asked her, okay, since you became a commissioner, have you not been helping people? She said, yes, she has kind of changed like about 10 people's lives, giving them homes, and they have jobs now. And she's looking forward to doing more. But that prophecy, what it did is that she had to go and reflect, and she started thinking about her own life. So there was a shift there from love for her work and for kind of people's life she's trying to change to love for her own self. So she started thinking that, maybe that prophecy means that I am not where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. That was like, where God has even placed you, it's kind of, it's something that you can put in your CV that it's going to be guaranteed that you will get even a higher promotion in future. You don't need any man of God to tell you that. I like what Benny Hinn said, that prosperity means no lack. My mom has no lack. Me, for instance, I have no lack, even though I don't own a private jet or a mansion. I don't need all those stuff to be. I'm already prospering with me being. I don't lack anything. So, dear, thank you for this message on love and the mentorship program. I'm really, although I'm a bit slow, I'm just on my second book. But it's really coming out well. A lot of changes are already happening in my life. I just say thank you.
Thank you, sir. Some people are writing here on the platform that they have written to somewhere, either to the mentorship or to the book distribution. I don't understand what you have written for. Is it for mentorship or distributor, to be a distributor, that you didn't get any reply? Concerning what? If it is concerning mentorship that you wrote and there was no reply, then write to mentorship@godembassy.org. Mentorship@godembassy.org. If it is the book that you wrote and you didn't get answer, write to dssbooks@gmail.com. Right now, I want to show you something. This is how much we collected. This is how much we collected after the campaign for Libya. You remember we did a campaign together to stop the slavery in Libya, where you can see the amount of money that is there. That is coming directly from the site of GoFundMe. And maybe by the time the GoFundMe remove their own percentage, I think they will remove some percentage from it. It might be less than this, but because they will remove their own percentage as well from it. This is just to give you a report. So anybody who sacrificed and gave $5 or I don't know how much, $10 or $1. I think nobody gave $1. I think it was from $5 upward. If you gave any amount of money to the Libya challenge, this is the report. Now, this is much more less than the amount we are planning to receive. This is much more less than the amount we are planning to collect. Our people are still not used to collecting and giving money for the good of others. Since that is the situation, I want to table this before you, all of you, and let you know that we have this amount of money. Is not what we wanted, but it's just at least something is there. So what I want you to do now is, please, if you know any organization that is dealing with the Libya, what do we call them, returnees. If you know any organization that is dealing with the Libya returnees, please write to us. Write to us and give us information about them. We would like to give this money to one credible organization, to a credible organization that is capable of using the money for the purpose that we gathered it. So anybody that knows any organization like that, please write to us, and we are also going to look into it and study and try to see which organization to give the money to. There were suggestions of giving the money to Cocoon Foundation, but in the West here, once you are living in the West here, it is not practiced, it is not welcomed that you will collect for one purpose and use for another. It is not encouraged. So since we collected for Libya victims, this money must only go there. It must only be used for Libya project. I remember when I first came to Europe, I was so surprised when I started working with Americans, and they were telling me like that because, for example, we collected money when I was in the church. I was pastoring, and I collected offering to pay for instrument or something, and I was asking this American, this money is for instrument, can we use it to pay our monthly rent for the church? So the American told me that in America, if you collect it for the instrument, you shouldn't use it for anything else. Wow! So that was how I learned my lesson that time, and so we should try to abide by that principle here. So we have to use the money just for the Libya project. So if you have some ideas and some suggestions in regards to that, please let us know. I'm just coming back to you with this report. So if anybody is out there that has given and didn't hear any report back from us, you can take a photograph. All of you can take a photograph of this screen. Take a photograph of the screen and go and show people that that's what we got. Thank you very much. Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Paul?
Good evening, sir. Yes, sir.
How is India, sir?
Fine, sir. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
God bless you, sir, for this awesome job that you are doing.
Thank you.
Sir, I was as I was watching, I saw a few people going back on their words that they used to preach, and I also saw somebody writing on the comment section. He or she said, "Who is next to confess?" and it dawned on me in my heart that I am the next person to confess.
Why?
So I'm going to be confessing that I sometimes, some years ago, I can't precisely say, when I was still a teacher, a Sunday school teacher, it was in our manual that for those who do not pay tithe, they are going to go to heaven. They will not make heaven because they are robbers.
Wow.
That they are robbing God. So I also taught that in the Sunday school. So it's unfortunate now that things has changed. I feel like liberated. But then, what about people that I have told the same thing? So, and I just want to say that it was an error.
Wow. Thank you.
So, this is my confession.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye. Now, somebody is suggesting here, I suggest some of our trustworthy DSA family members in Nigeria be given the money so that they could disburse it to the Libya victims. That's one idea. And I know that Berekete family was doing something about that. I kind of have sympathy for that Berekete family. But anyway, we want to hear all your suggestions. Write them to our inbox. Hello?
Hello, Pastor Sunday.
Is that Raphael?
This is Raphael from Italy.
Yes, sir. How are you today?
I'm fine, sir.
Nice.
We thank God the revolution is really yielding results. We give God the glory.
What result?
We see the way they are responding. Now look at what the GOs are responding. The way Tam Adeyemi and Pastor Mike.
Hey, speak. Your voice has gone somewhere. It was okay before, just now.
I said that it's really working. It's affecting them gradually. They will all turn around and speak the truth.
Amen.
Yeah, because I first saw the video today from Brother Victor's wall. I was so happy, and I did a video this afternoon also on regard to that. We thank God for what He's doing, and by the grace of God, those ones that are left, they will turn around and face the truth.
Amen.
Just let's continue to do what we are doing. By the grace of God Almighty, the truth will get to every corner of Nigeria. The truth will get to every corner of Nigeria.
Amen.
In the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Pastor. And I have another testimony. My sister is also watching you. My sister, who has been very, very difficult before, she is watching DSA now. She's so also keen with DSA messages. She called me this evening to tell me that she's very grateful and she was praying for you.
Wow.
She was praying for you. And it's awesome what God is doing. It's awesome. It's awesome. We'll give God the glory, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.
Okay.
Have a wonderful evening.
Blessings, sir.
Blessings to you too. Okay, who is the next person online? Hello? Okay, we still have callers. Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Well done, sir. Sir, I'm a bit new on this platform, but I must say I have been following your program very well.
Yes.
And sir, your program has really blessed my life. By the grace of God, I'm a Christian. I've been following God, but some things have not been made open like this to some people, to some of us, especially when we attend churches where they don't tell us the real truth. We need to know. And sometimes, even when we try to speak up some facts, they tend to make us know that maybe we should not rebel against the church, that we are rebelling. We should not say some things. So I must say that your program is an eye-opener to any Christian who truly believes that he is serving God or you want to serve God. This program will open your eye. Except for those who don't believe in the true essence of Christianity, they'll begin to criticize this program. I must say, sir, God will bless you, sir, for the good work you are doing, sir.
Amen. Thank you,
sir.
Thank you, sir. Where are you calling from?
I have a question.
What country?
I'm calling from Italy, sir.
Italy.
I'm calling from Italy.
Yes.
I'm calling from Italy, sir. Sir, I want to ask a question because of this program. I've been blessed, and there are a lot of things I would have loved to say, but I believe this will not be the right time for me to begin to say them because it's going to take much time.
Yeah.
So I will ask a question that will make me to say just a particular word. Sir, is it right for a GO in a church to say to his workers, those that are working, that he ordained to work in a ministry, that is going to place all the workers on, they are going to be paying tithe, and they are going to have a special card for tithe, and he's going to personally monitor their tithe, and that if any one of them is not regular in the tithe, he's going to drop them from the position. Sir, I don't know. How do we reconcile this with true practical Christianity? I don't know.
No, first of all, we are saying that people like that who are demanding for tithe like that, you shouldn't ever take tithe to them. People who are already demanding for tithe, it means that is what they are after. They are after money. You should never ever take anything to them. Tithe, even if you want to pay, should be from your own heart willingly. It shouldn't be a law or compulsory. No, that's number one. Number two, your right hand should not know what your left hand is doing. So if a pastor is saying that, that's just a show, an indicator for you people that is not a church, that is just a cult.
And sir, do you know that this question now will make me, because I have confirmed this a lot of times, that the Christianity they practice, especially in this part of the world, I know it is still very different, because especially we now know that some of them are just, they open the church for business ventures just to make money. And like one of your message that you were teaching about how people, pastors brainwash people with guilt. You were talking on something like that, using a particular a prophet as an example on the screen. You know, that's, in fact, that message on that day, I was so happy, because it made me to know that I thought I was attending a church. I never knew I was not attending a church.
Yeah.
I never knew I was at the wrong place. So, sir, I say this platform has really done something wonderful in my life. I began to share your messages. Whenever I'm online, I share it immediately. And recently, people started writing me, where did you get this kind of message from? This is powerful. This is an eye-opener. I said, please help me to continue to share. We must all wake up. We must all wake up to true practical Christianity. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate your good work. I pray that God will continue to use you to reach out to us and other people in Jesus' name.
Thank you, man. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
too.
sir.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, people are writing concerning the Libya project. Just write me a letter. My email is pastor@godembassy.org. So please go ahead and write and let me know, what your suggestions are. Okay, we have more callers coming. Like I said, I want to get you people ready that this love series is finishing on Sunday. Hello?
Hi, sir. How are you?
Hello, Miriam.
Sir, God bless you.
You too. Nice to hear from you.
Sorry, but last time I was going to the hospital to see someone for prayer. So and then the nurses at that hospital, they were looking bored. I got them to start listening through the internet, and it was fun.
Yeah.
So, today, again, every time I listen to you, and it's always a mixed juggling emotion, to get deeper with what God is saying. But this is what you said that I have seen around, and that is copying people. People copy, they never wait to know who they are. They never wait to know what is it God wants you to do specifically. As a young girl, when I began to hear God, that I was working in Nigerian customs, I was not satisfied. The more money, the more sad, the more debt I saw myself. And the Lord said to me, I created you for a specific thing. I didn't even know that word that is in English language. I had to go search for it. So I said, now give me an example of what specificness meant. He took me to the store and he said, look at the oranges and look at the flowers, and began to take me to all of the different kingdoms he has laid for all humanity, which we ourselves are the ones that have dominion over. Every one of them have a specific duty. So these pastors that I met here in Houston, they'll tell you, copy what we're doing, just go and do it. I said, no, I don't copy. If you copy, you lose yourself. You lose who you are, the essence of the very thing that God specifically created you for. You lose it. And then I met one that they just take somebody else's, like mission statements, that what God has told them. They say, just take off the name of that person and just put your own name. So why the whole people are corrupted is because of copying, impatient of really knowing God telling you who you are and processing you to that particular person. Everything has, from one level to another, or so, if I can use that word. I know they commonly use it in Africa, so I want to be careful choosing it, which is, if you go from clerk, to general manager to director, you go from one place to another in life. But Nigerians are very impatient, and all the impatient as normal people going to church, impatient as the pastors who don't even know, they are not even pastors, period. They don't know what is it that they are there for. In Africa, if someone wear a tight jeans, everybody wears tight jeans. If someone sing one song, everybody sings all the songs. Do you know why? Because they cannot hear. And then again, the environment is too noisy. The environment is so noisy. Someone selling akara, which is, selling buns, is playing music. They're very loud when they speak. They don't speak gently. They're just forceful in nature. And that's why they cannot hear. They cannot hear the God talking to them. And if they hear, they don't want to follow. They want to copy copy what another person is doing. So yes, sir, that was a point right there. Because, in fact, one man of God, he said to me, oh, you're gifted. Let me teach you how to do ministry. I just listened to him. I recorded it. If I see you, I will let you listen. I said, sir, I cannot write these things you're telling me. Please, can I record it? He said, yes. I recorded these things that he was telling me. I said, God forbid. This is not God. Freely God gave, freely you receive. They said, let's do prayer meeting. You charge people. Really? I don't know about that. Because I see in the Bible, it didn't say so. So I'm afraid of this thing you guys are doing. It's easy for people to go around and do stuff because the fear of God is not in them. If the fear of God is the beginning of your wisdom, you'll be careful to know and to do whatever we are doing. So even in this platform, I hear some people now, I'll go and copy this thing from Pastor Sunday. I'll go and replicate that one and this one. You need to know which one exactly God wants you to focus on. It's so important to know that.
Yeah.
It's so important because you will run off. You will run off the thing. You run off and you lose yourself. You lose the very puzzle. You know the word puzzle? People who play puzzle. You fit in. You so fit in. And you can radiate from there and shine because you have fit into the very God essence that you were created to be. When you begin to copy somebody else, you will copy the first pages. What about the 2,000 pages? You can't have it. Because very soon the person might decide to close all those loopholes. Because that's not who you are. Okay? So that's it. So, sir, about the love series, thank you. It's really, really, really moving in US, where I live. All around the schools in my area, all the children there, when we go to teach them Bible, we tell them about Jesus, all that. But now the focus is on love series. And because there's a lot of shooting going on in America. A lot of shooting, children shooting in schools because of the family where they're coming from. The aggressiveness of their family, the pursuit of wealth. The people are pursuing and they neglect their children. So it's going on. And people are listening.
Glory to God.
You know what we do? Because in schools, they have the internet to go through and they open it up. And so they're listening. We say, just take 15 minutes. Yeah, the 15 minutes and listen. And that's what we did. And 2 days ago, one of the children, they say, we are love beings. Beautiful. Hate is loud, but love is louder than hate. Beautiful. That's their own word, though, not my word.
Beautiful.
The hate is loud. But love is louder than hate. Wow. So this afternoon, sir, while you were talking, I went to take a 89-year-old woman who does not have a child. I took her for shopping. So I'm asking her a question. I said, can you listen to what this young man is saying? He said, that is very interesting. She's a Seventh-day Adventist woman. She said, that is very interesting. She listened. She cannot hear very well. I put the thing in her ear so she can listen very well. I said, now ask her a question. I want you to please hear this, Dr. Sunday. I said, ma'am, 98 years. So 1 more year, she'll be 100. She's working on her own. She doesn't have any child. I say, you do have a child. You can take me as your own child. You don't have to birth the child to claim that you have a child. Believe that you have one. Because you have people here who are loving you. She said she smiled, but I don't know if that's sinking her or not. But however, she listened to you. Guess what she said? She said, love is the screen print, that's her word. Love is the screen print of okay, listen now. Love is the screen print of God's character. That's her own word.
Wow.
That's her own word.
Profound.
So, sir, thank you very much. And
profound.
She said, yes. She said she's going to gather all the people in her old people home because that's where I went to. Today is my first day of going to meet with her because they said she didn't have anyone. And I said, yes, I volunteer to help you shop and take you, once a week. Why not? So she's going to gather the people now in her old people's home, in her own apartment. Because she gathered them to pray. She do Bible study there. But now she says she's going to be listening. Because she feel like with what she had today, this is 98-year-old woman, that she doesn't know enough.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So God bless you, sir.
Thank you, Miriam. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Blessings.
You're welcome, sir.
Excellent, excellent. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let the love revolution continue. And congratulations to all women. Tomorrow is Women's Day. We are still going to congratulate you tomorrow, but we congratulate you today as well. Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Is that Pastor Charles?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, nice to hear from you again.
Yes, I'm excited to call in, sir.
Yes.
I'm excited to call in. I just want to thank you so much for the impact that you are making through the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. I am so blessed. I'm so lifted. Me and my family, the impact we have experienced from you, from your messages, it can never be, quantified with anything that we have ever learned in our lives. So I'm very happy for the opportunity. Concerning today's subject, I'm bleeding in my heart to think of the millions of people that have been twisted, that whose hands have been bent behind them and their money is squeezed out of their hand. All in the name of the gospel. Especially the issue of first fruits. I have been a victim of that gospel of first fruits over the years. And not only being a victim, I actually come to believe that it is the way that prosperity works until I began to listen to you. I practiced it for over the years. I'm talking about since I became a Christian.
Wow.
In what I call the most, I think at that moment I thought this ministry is the best ministry in the world. They are setting the pace. I thought so. So I followed every doctrine, every instruction that has to do with money.
So what do you think now about that ministry?
I'm amazed that they, like what this man said, Michael Conquo, what he said, that what I see that they are practicing is kindergarten ministry. At the moment, what I think about those ministries is that they are still, they are way off the gospel. They are not near the gospel that we are supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And in respect to financial matters, they have deceived us, all of us, a lot. They have stripped our finances. They have emptied our bank accounts, all in the name of prosperity. And it's so painful. And as we speak, many are still being victimized. Many are still. I was talking about a lady the other day before the phone call went off. How a pastor demanded her salary as a way of getting a miracle. And first fruit is one of the greatest lies in the Church of Jesus Christ. It's one of the greatest lies. Yes, this ministry, especially Christ Embassy, has demanded it for over the years. It's what they practice. It's one of the belief systems. If you don't pay first fruits, you are not part. You are not even. You can't even be a member. It's like your membership is questionable.
Wow.
Heavily questionable. And yet we have people who are members of that same church in demand, in need, impoverished, crying for help. And amazingly, those who are suffering in the ministry, who are working for them, are denied of even, obviously, it's not even the ministry. There are several other ministries that does that now. They call it mega church pioneering, where they use lay pastors as their servants and send them everywhere to build church, to raise churches, to start churches, and then forbid them of their family life, forbid them of their rights, forbid them, they don't even pay them, they don't even give them anything. And they will ask them to pay their tithe, they will ask them to pay their first fruits from their own salary that they are struggling to make. So the money issue is so tense in the church. It's so bad. It's so terrible. So I'm beginning to wonder, where is the love of God?
Yeah.
If actually these people preach, they declare that they love God, they know the Holy Spirit, where is now the love of God that they demonstrate? Do you know, Pastor, that as we speak, many of the pastors and ministers, especially the GOs, they have the media, they have power over the wave, that if they come up on air, they can make an announcement, make a change, and begin to change their message, and overnight, the whole city will change and begin to do the right thing.
Wow.
There are lots of them who have anchored the media. They have what we call the power of the air. They have gained some power over the TV stations, over the internet. They have so much influence that if they change their message one night and just come up and say, from today, I have found an error, or from today, no more tithe, or this is what you should use your tithe for, or no more first fruits. This is what you should use the money for, especially helping the needy. And they strategize it with sincerity of love, like the message you're preaching about love, what they should do. Nigeria will turn a new leaf overnight.
Yeah.
But they will not do it because of the greed. And this is my tears, this is my cry. Because of the greed. They will not do it because of their pride. They will not do it. They want to maintain their error and act as though they are doing the right thing. So every other thing that we are saying here is against the gospel. We are fighting them. So now they deceive their members. They hold a caucus meeting, in-house meeting, brainwashing their members even more. And all those ones lacking the critical thinking skills that they're supposed to put on, they are now doing something over and over again and regretting their action. Yes, I've listened to men. I've had an opportunity to speak to some of the pastors. They are suffering.
Wow.
I'm telling you, they are suffering.
Why are they suffering?
I'm talking about pastors in Christ Embassy, pastors in Winners, pastors in they live very close to me here in London.
Why are they suffering?
Because all the money they ever work for is either in one partnership, in one giving, every week.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, they are not having something for themselves to even take care of their family. They are struggling to pay their mortgage. And yet, this February, one of them came to me and was wondering how it's going to continue, because he just paid his first fruit and he was looking for money to borrow.
Wow.
Is that not foolishness of the highest order? Is that not stupidity? A twisting of the gospel?
Yeah, they've been hypnotized.
All of these things.
They are hypnotized.
It's terrible. And I'm amazed why people will be so heartless, yet they claim to be compassionate. I want to thank you, DSA. There's so much pain, when I think about this, there's so much pain in my heart that I wish there is, this message will go faster than it's going. I'm just praying that it should. I'm just praying that it should. Now, concerning what the woman said, just that lady that called the wife, I understand what she was trying to say about not copying people. But at the moment, this message of love, this campaign that we are doing against the hypocrisy of the church, everyone has the right to copy anything without even let them copy the message from DSA and post and say, right down, they have all right. Whether you lose yourself, you gain yourself, this we must do quickly because the time is short.
Yeah.
The time is very short. And until everybody wake up, and I thank God for what they are all doing now. If the president of the Pentecostal church in Nigeria had to now begin to speak up openly, that means it has come home. It has come home. And in the next few weeks, I told you, we were talking the other day, the first time I called, when we started the love series. I said, this is what God called you for. And that man that came back from the dead, that prophet that came back from death, when you said you met with him, and he said you were one of those that the Lord told one of the leaders that
Yes.
God was going to use for this purpose.
Yes.
I said yes, because the Lord confirmed me to me that very day that you started the love series. And that is the reality. And I know you are not stopping because even the passion that you have for it is so hot that even the chair you are sitting on can burn. It's aflame spiritually. That chair is aflame spiritually because it's so hot. I know the passion you're having. And such passion can only is what is required to change the state of Nigerian church, especially Africa. So I want to thank you, sir. I want to appreciate you. And through your teaching, recently, I was amazed. My wife listened to you almost every time, every hour she gets, every minute she gets. We are listening. And if not, we have been listening to you, I think we would have made several errors in our lives.
Wow.
Several errors. Recently, we have been planning, and we're planning now. We're planning to go to Nigeria. We want to set up a school, a secondary school, free of charge.
Beautiful.
For primary school. We're starting with a primary school. We have several lands that we have the particular land we're using. So we don't need to buy the land. So we're going to set up build a school and start enrolling free children that are not going to school, especially primary school. We want to start with those in primary school. And we want to start by God's grace. This is our plan. And we have never thought of this in our lives. Until we started listening to you.
Wow.
Our days are not coming. The love of God is now boiling up in our heart. And it's coming strong. And I believe everyone that is on this platform is receiving the same thing. Our days are coming to them. And I told my wife, we're going to do it. So towards the end of this year, by God's will, we're going to start before the end of this year. We're going to start putting things together to do that, to build a school for free education. We want to start. That's what we plan to do, to start the campaign for free education for children, and we'll do it because it's the way we believe we can show our love for the people. Beautiful. And God's love for the people.
Beautiful.
I want to thank you, sir. I want to thank you I just want you to know that the result is showing up quickly, and people are responding. We are all responding, and the gospel is not clear to us. Imagine if we have known this 20 years ago. Imagine if we have known this 15 years ago. Life would have been different. If many people who are listening now would have known this 20 years ago, Nigeria would have been different. But I want to thank you, sir, for the impact and the changes that we're making. I'm still reading your books that you recommended for me. I've gotten all of them on Kindle, and I'm reading them one by one. Thank you very much, sir. And I believe one day I will be coming, if not to Nigeria to meet you, if you're already in Nigeria, but I will be coming to Kiev, Ukraine, for the Asian team, which I definitely will. Me and my family will. Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
I really appreciate it.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir.
God bless you, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. We still have callers. So let's listen to. Hello?
Oh, good evening, sir.
Oh, is that Ojo Idehe?
Yes.
How are you, sir?
Yes.
Hello?
God Almighty bless you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You are hand of God on earth. May God bless you, sir.
Amen.
This revelation of His coming.
The line is very bad. Yeah, the line is very bad. I don't know why the line is not going through for him. The line is not clear, but we have other ones that might be there. Maybe he will call back later. Maybe it's where he's situated or something. Hello? Someone else is trying to call in. Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Who is calling from where?
Good evening, movement agent.
Yes.
I think.
Who is calling from where?
Yeah, this is Papilo calling from Hungary.
Okay, Papilo. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, what is the matter arising?
We are preaching.
Okay.
I don't know who that is. Maybe he called the wrong place. Maybe he's calling to the wrong place. I don't think that's our client. Okay, let's try another person. Someone else is online to call. So it's better to... Hello?
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 Yes.
DSA.
Oh,
sir, how are you, sir?
That's you.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
Very good. How are you today?
Lovely. DSA, the ship is sailing home gradually. Yes, we are sailing home gradually. First of all, I want to thank Bishop Michael Konko because he's one of the elders in Nigeria, in the Nigerian church. And he's a big personality in the Nigerian church.
You're right.
Like you rightly pointed out, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
He was the former PFN president, and he's been, they are the fathers. They are the fathers. And I really want to appreciate him, to thank him for speaking out. Because, DSA, this is what we need. We need the elders to start speaking out. And I want to thank you as well for your humility, DSA, with all the things that God has used you to achieve in the West, in Europe. With your humility, because a lot of them, if God had told them to do what you're doing today, I'm sure they wouldn't even do it. And if they did it, they wouldn't even, we can't even have the boldness and the courage to ask them questions, to write negative things about them, to question their, But, your humility is something that I want to personally appreciate and thank you for it, because you have shown some people like me, you are a good role model. This is what we lack in Nigeria. In business, we don't have role models. In politics, we don't have role models. In the church, we don't have role models. But because of people like you, we can now look at the future. The other day, I was saying to you that, DSA, I can see the future.
Yeah.
And you asked me a question, session why? And I said to you, DSA, nothing can be done against the truth but for the truth. It's all about the truth. And I was listening to your to one of your messages, the paganism series. you said something. You said, who colonized Africa? People answered, they said Europe. Who colonized Asia? People answered, they said Europe. Who colonized the Americas? People answered, they said Europe. You asked the question, now said why? And everything pointed to knowledge.
Yeah.
And the same thing, it is the knowledge of the love of God that will transform Africa. And like I said to you, DSA, I don't see any other way out for us except we embrace the love message. I don't see any way. I don't see it. That's the only commandment we need to start to fulfill right now.
Right.
In my early days as Christians, this is what we have been doing. And this is what I told one of my friends. You know, I have a lot of other pastors friends that they have the platform to speak out, but they never did, DSA. They have churches, they speak to people, they never did. I didn't have a platform, but I still fought still fought in those days that come. Our life is all about showing love. People cannot be suffering around us, and then the church is milking us. Now today, they are calling me and telling me, Shane, we have been talking about this. And I said, sorry, you have not been speaking about this because you did not speak out. When good people keep quiet, evil will continue to thrive. And you know what God did? You know, God is just so fantastic, DSA. God is just so humorous. God had to raise up somebody like Daddy Freeze that nobody will reckon with.
Yeah.
Because God had to raise him up. Can you imagine? God raised up Daddy Freeze. And that is a lesson for all of us to learn. If you don't stand for the truth, God always has his own remnants.
Yes.
There will always be the 7,000 that will never bow down to Baal. God will pick them, and there will not be people that you will reckon with. But God has used you, DSA, to back up what Daddy Freeze was doing in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Because he was the only one that had the boldness and the courage to start speaking out when everybody was condemning him. And yes, DSA, everybody was DSA, and I thank God for, God is a strategist. God raised you up. That's why what is going on with you in Ukraine, I can now see the reason why. Because God needed to use you as well to back up what Daddy Freeze was doing. Because if there wasn't somebody like you backing him up, they would have skinned that boy alive.
Yes, and everybody. They would have condemned.
These fathers are.
Yeah, they would have condemned him and say he's nobody.
Yes, they would have skinned him alive. They would have used the structure, the system against him, and they would have skinned him alive. But because of somebody like you saying the same thing and speaking out in a more grandiose way, they had no choice. So I'm just so thankful. DSA, you can see we are sailing home gradually. And this is what will transform Africa. This is what will transform Nigeria. I have been eating all paganism, the truth series. I have been eating. I have six of your books that I'm reading. I'm reading all together. Why? Because when you have love for your pastor, DSA, do you know what moves me? It is the love for my continent. It is the love for my country.
Yes.
I cannot, yes, DSA is the love for my country and the love for my country. I can sit down in the UK and say to myself, oh yeah, my life is sorted out, but the love for my country can never let me sit down and be enjoying my life with my family when I know that my country is in a mess. And this is the attitude all of us need to have. So many people come on the platform. DSA, my question to them is, if they knew better, would they even come on your platform? The people that are commenting and saying all sorts of, because there are a few of them, and I've not just had time to start dealing with them, because we have to apply tough love for some people.
Yes.
Because you are here to learn. Keep quiet. If you know, you wouldn't even be on this platform. If you know half of what DSA knows, you'll be impacting nations. You'll be impacting your society, but you don't have any testimony. So why don't you keep quiet and learn? But this is the problem that we have with Africans, DSA. We have an issue. But I believe that with somebody like you, our mindset can be transformed with your resources, your tapes, your CDs, your messages, your books. I can, some people will be able to reactivate their senses, because this is the problem that we have with Africa. And that is how Africa is plagued, DSA. We are plagued everywhere. We are plagued. And we don't understand something, that no matter the individual success you have in the West, your roots, if your roots is not in tandem with your success, when you say of Africa, what do people see? I keep repeating this to people. People are not getting it. Your root will always plague you. Samo Farah, the athlete, the British, the Somalia that became British, that won medal for Britain. Recently, at the airport in the US, if you see the way they dragged him, they treated him and he has a SAR. If you see the way they treated him in the US.
Wow.
Why? Because he is an African. And they can see the picture of what Africa is presently. It's not the picture of the kingdom of heaven. It's not the picture of the kingdom of the roads that are paved with gold. And that's why, yes, this is a sensitive season and time in our lives. And people that do not pick and be sensitive to what God is doing, the move of God, they're going to miss out. They're going to miss out. DSA, I am not afraid of death any longer. I am not. You know what I'm afraid of? Not fulfilling my purpose. That is the greatest disaster. Not fulfilling one's purpose is because you are going to stand before the Father. What are you going to say? What will be relevant at that time will not be all these things that we have right now. What will be really relevant is how you've affected and touched lives. That is it. That is the summary. This is a fantastic one, and I'm thankful. Just like the previous scholar said, I'm thankful, DSA, that I'm alive to witness this. Wow. I'm thankful that God is using me as part of His end time onslaught. I'm thankful that God is using me as part of the tools that He will use for this end time. I'm a tool in the hand of the Father, and I'm so glad. My family is a tool. The resources I have is a tool for God to be used to bring down His kingdom on the earth, and I'm grateful. So, DSA, once again, I'm so thankful to you. Thank you, sir, for your humility. Thank you for your love for the country, for your continent. And God will continue to, load you up with grace. You and your family. Thank you for your wife for letting you do what you are doing. Thank God for your children. Thank God for the team that is supporting you. And thank God for everybody else on the platform that has received this engrafted word of God that is able to save our soul. This is what will save Africa. This is what will save Nigeria. And I so thank you. And I thank everybody that have received the truth with humility as well. So God bless everybody. DSA, I am so glad the ship is sailing home gradually. The ship, yes. DSA, my wife wants to say hello to you.
Yes, please.
Hello, DSA. Good evening, sir.
How are you, my sister?
I'm fine. Thank you so very much, sir.
Always exciting to hear from you people.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. We bless God. I just want to testify and say I thank you for all your messages. I've listened to Life is Predictable online. I've listened to the messages about money, and I'm currently listening to the series on prayer. And since I started listening to them, I've been taking actions, and our lives have changed. So an example will be like life is unpredictable. It's predictable. Sorry. Yes. Immediately I heard it. That was the first one of the first videos. I came home. I told my husband. We discussed with the children, and the children were talking about 7 years old, 4 years old, and we said, look, we are canceling Sky TV. Because we need to get our priorities right. Less TV, more reading, more work. We've got stuff to do. And they were happy with it. So immediately, about 2-3 days after, we cancelled it. And that's one of the actions that we took. Our philanthropic work, it has increased as well. And Shehu is also doing more now because we've been transformed. And also, remember I said that my relationship with my dad is now back, which is ongoing, and it's fantastic. We're talking more and more. What other things? And then about the prayer series. The time I've been hearing about 2-3 days now, I've been having serious headache. The serious headache is just because I'm like, Modupe Allah, what have you been doing in terms of prayer? The sort of prayers that you should be praying, like questioning myself and thinking more and consciously having that relationship with God on a regular basis. and it's a phenomenal feeling. We are light. In our family, there's no more weight. We are light. We are happy when we reach out to people. We are consciously seeing the poor on the street or the homeless on the street, and are consciously doing something. So we are transforming. We're doing something. So it's just whoever is hearing my voice, what we are here listening to, let us not only be hearers, but let us also be doers. Whatever we do will become a trickle effect. And one other thing that we do, sir, in our philanthropic work is when we reach out, we tell those people, the reason why we are doing that is because we want you to also reach out. So you will reach out, and you will behave, so you will reach out. That is one of the conditions. So we bless God, sir. I just said I should hear your voice and
also I'm very impressed that you people are listening to the series, because those are the series that you mentioned. You know, the Life is Predictable series and the prayer series and then the financial series, and they are very thorough, and that takes a lot of self-discipline to go through all of them. So because most people who are coming on the platform and only listen to me live, they sometimes don't realize that I have so much material waiting on the YouTube for them and on SoundCloud, and you know. So yeah, tell us, would you like to encourage or challenge people who are here to be able to actually know the importance of going to listen to those particular recordings?
I will definitely, I definitely encourage everybody and challenge everybody to listen to those series. There are so many videos, but with determination, tenacity, and patience, listen to it. It's like you are eating food. And when you are eating nourishing food, it will transform you. Without you realizing, you are acting in the way that you need to act as God ordained when he created man, Adam and Eve. That is what will happen to you. Because it was challenging, especially the money series. There are 57 videos. So, and it's like an hour long each. So you can imagine, I listened to it for about a month, constantly, every single day, weekday to be precise, and with the other one. So you have to consciously do that, and it will be mind-blowing. Some of the messages you'll say, oh, but I know this. But look, listen and listen. They say what you listen to or what you ingest it does make a difference. Would make a difference in the way you behave. So, for example, now with the life is predictable, I did not know that life was predictable. I thought, oh, you just do what you have to do. But in the context in which you explained it, you broke it down. You had time. You have in all your series, in the ones I've listened to, you take time to study. You actually prepare for them amidst all the other things that you are doing. I don't even know how you do it, but God bless you, sir. So you actually you break it down, and you consciously pour out what is inside of you, and you go back to it's like Moses and the Israelites. Yeah. Moses will go to the mountain and will meet daily with God and come back. That's exactly what you have. That's the way I see it, the way you've been doing and you are still doing. So it's everyone should just go and listen to it. Be patient and be determined that you will complete it. Because there were times that I was like, let me just stop it. But no. Finish. Because finishing everything does make a difference. And listening to all the series, it does make a difference. And it will transform it's like renewing your mind. It will transform you, and the way you start thinking. For example, I'll just be working and I'll be walking or even working. I'll just remember, oh yes, Father, I know I do it normally, but that consciousness, oh Father, I just love you. Thank you. You're wonderful. You're awesome. Holy Spirit, how far now? Because God is my friend. How far? Yes. So those are the sort of conversations I have. Life is predicted. What I sow is what I reap. So I'm conscious of it. I am putting more into my work. I'm working diligently. I'm consciously doing what it is that I need to do. So I really thank God. I thank God. Sean wants to talk again.
Yeah, I wanted actually to invite him so that he will tell us his own impression as well, because he also mentioned that he has been listening to some series.
Okay. Yes, he has. Hold on, sir.
Hello, DSA.
Yeah, you said you have been listening to some series as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what would you like to say about the importance of taking time out to listen to those series and reading the books?
DSA, those going on your YouTube on your messages on YouTube, it's like a detox, because there's a lot. Fine, we know. Bible says that we know in part. We don't know everything, but the way and the dimension and the wisdom God has given you, the way you teach, the way you open up the scriptures is completely different from what we are used to. And it has really helped me personally. And that is why that the only way, that I don't see any other way that we can be established in the truth if we don't eat such food that God has used you to dish out. Because the real thing is for us to be established in the truth. And how can you be established in the truth? It is by studying and studying and studying again. And those messages for true series, my, the things that when you the breakdown of what truth is not, DSA, the true honest truth, I've not heard that before. Prayer series, my word, when to pray, when not to pray, and when to stop praying. Near Africa, DSA, it is just, the paganism series, the things, you taught within the paganism series, before you started the love series, you were teaching on love.
Yeah.
You taught some part of love.
Yes.
I said, what? Now, it is not about DSA. So don't let us get it wrong. DSA is a vessel that God has used because he has given himself to God. God will use it. The same thing. Let me tell you something. Just like DSA said some powerful things in that paganism series. People, anybody that gives himself for God as a tool for God to use, God will use it, whether unbeliever or believer.
Yeah.
That will be shocking to some people. And that is why, look at who controls the world today, the world system. Finance, commerce, technology, they are all unbelievers. Forbes just released the 10 richest people in the world. Go and read about them now. From Carlos Slim, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. Go and look at all of them. They are unbelievers. So what are we talking about? This is a wake-up call for us. And God has used DSA as that tool, as that vessel. God is expressing and releasing himself through DSA. And if you yourself, you present yourself to God to be used by you, God will use you in the capacity that he desires to use you. Just that DSA, can you imagine, since I started, like I told you, we have been doing something before. I came on, I joined your movement too. But with you now, guess what, DSA? Do you know that I'm now going to be involved in politics in Nigeria? That is what I receive. I am telling you. God said you can't. Because you know what we do in Africa? We said it's a dirty game. Politics is a dirty game. And that is what has happened. Because we keep rejecting the call of God. Those thugs, those rogues, they are the ones leading us. They are the ones writing our laws.
Yes.
They are the ones in the Senate. They are the ones in the House. They are the governors. Because we feel that we are creating an Eden for ourselves outside of the world. We have forgotten that we live in the world. That's why the Bible says that the children of this world, they are wiser in their own time.
Yeah.
Now, God has woken me up. So my calling, my purpose is just is coming out the more I listen to you. The more I listen to the truth series, the more I listen to the prayer series, the more I go back and listen to all the messages, love series, everything. It is now coming out. It is now coming out. So people, it is very, very important. This 1 hour that we on daily broadcast is not enough. You cannot be established in the truth like this. You cannot. It is an impossibility. Look at how the world big shots do it. They study. Look at DSA when you were teaching about solitude. My DSA. Oh, that solitude is like a joker card. I have not had it before. Now. Me and Solitude will be parties now. We are friends. I'm telling you, that's why I don't call in all the time any longer. Because DSA, you know you know what makes a teacher happy? It is not a teacher is happy not because the student is praising the teacher every day. Teacher, thank you for yesterday. Thank you for yesterday. The teacher is happy that when the teacher is not hearing from the student again, and one day he just sees something, and he says, "Who is that?" They said, "That's one of your one of my students." That is what is happening to the teachers that taught Bill Gates,
yes,
that taught Mark Zuckerberg right now. They are so proud of them because they have gone forth, they have applied the lessons that they've learned. But in Africa, eye service don't kill us. We don't apply anything. We just like talking. And that's why some people making comments all the time. Stop commenting all the time. Listen and learn. Go back to now stop commenting all the time. You can't learn like that. How many hours do you have? And you're using everything to pass comments. When you don't, if you knew, why would you be on this platform? You don't know now. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. It's true DSA because some people you need to apply tough love on them. You know, DSA, recently, I helped my Aburo Gogo, my junior sister. I'm talking to people that are putting out negative comments, so not other people. And this particular message I'm dishing out is for people putting out negative comments. DSA, my junior sister, I told her she needed something, she wanted to establish herself in business. I said, no problem. But it's going to be different. I am not dashing you money. There's no entitlement mentality that this is my brother. Oh, he will just give. No. There must be accountability. This is a loan. This is a loan.
Beautiful.
Now, yes, so it's a loan. And everybody that asks me for money now, I said, first of all, you have to read DSA's book.
Or listen.
You have to read.
Yes.
Because DSA, people in diaspora, we need to help people in Africa. Stop sending money home. Because you see, this money in transition, it just misses out. What you send the money home for them to do, they will not do. Until we change their mindset, help them. We send about $30 billion. People from diaspora, that's a huge amount of money. And we cannot see it in the society. Stop sending money home. Impact people with knowledge. That's why you yourself, you have to be equipped first before you can equip somebody. So that's why you have to listen to DSA's messages on YouTube. You have to go back there. It's not about DSA, it's about Jesus Christ. It's about God the Father. And God is revealing himself to you through DSA's messages.
Yeah.
But we have to humble ourselves. So DSA, money, you want money, it's a different ball game. Because DSA, we have realized that dashing people money is not helping.
Because they don't know the loss of money. If they don't know the loss of money, and you're just giving them
money.
Yes.
And DSA, you know what the problem that you're trying to solve, that they come to you for, that poverty problem still remains.
Yeah.
And you keep giving money and it's never solved. But now we have a system in place. And you know you're a systems person. So I've learned that from you as well.
Yes.
Putting structures in place. Because this is how the West has done it. They work by systems.
Yeah.
They have put systems in place. So, DSA, I'll continue tomorrow so that I'll allow other people to talk.
What about books? Have you started reading some books?
DSA, I'm telling you, I'm not eating your own books alone. I have
yeah, but we are talking about my books now.
Yes, I have Money Will Make You Rich. Mm-hmm. I have Who Am I? I'm reading them simultaneously. I have to regain lost years. DSA, this matter is not a joking matter. DSA, it's not because let me tell you, DSA, before I leave this world, I want to empty myself. Yes. I want to be significant.
Yes, and leave your footprint.
Yes, so yes, I want to leave. I don't want to be a part of the number. The people that want to be part of that can be making negative comments. But some of us, we have caught the bug. We have caught the bug. So I'm part of God's end time onslaught. I'm part of God's army. I'm a foot soldier for Jesus. I'm established in that. It is standard. Nothing can change that any longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are giving. Yes, you are giving back to more to more songs.
That's my whole objective now.
Yeah. So we might not be talking all the time, but yes, like I said to you, things are happening. We are applying the knowledge, and we are taking in more knowledge, and we are taking in more knowledge. So people, I encourage you. Go and listen to DSA on YouTube. Listen to those. This live broadcast cannot establish. You need to be established in the truth so that we can establish other people in the truth through love, And then, we can now bring our country out of the dungeons of hell and make our country, our continent, the envy of the world. Yes, God bless you, sir. So, I'll call again.
Thank you.
I'll call again maybe tomorrow.
Thanbe you, sir. Thank you,
sir.
so
I'm going to share more, sir. All
beautiful.
Right, God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, I think we'll be hearing a lot, and we've had a lot. So that's all for today, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. All right. Enjoy your evening, everybody. Bye.